3 days ago, my partner, 32M, his mother and I, 25F, we've been together for 8 years on and off, we're on our way to his sister's house for her daughter's birthday. Just the night before my partner and I had an argument about kids. Nothing new lately, he wants one and we've been trying for a few months now. Anyway, I said we need to see a doctor. He believes that we're both healthy and young and if anything then we're doing something wrong. I was already exhausted from work and wanted to have some rest so I didn't argue much, which only made him even more angry. I sat up and let him have his moment then slept. Next day we went to pick up his mother. I tried to start a conversation but he just kept nodding. Now with his mom with us in the car I tried my best to lighten the mood so she doesn't feel uncomfortable. 5 minutes or so he said, "Can you shut your mouth for a minute? I don't want to hear your voice." His mother asked him what's wrong. All I said was I know what's wrong with him. He stopped the car and yelled at me that since I know what's wrong then I for sure know what an immature BTCH I am for starting a discussion with no intention to communicate. Mind you, he was the one who started it and refused to lower his voice and sit down so we communicate like adults. All this time his mother in the backseat just watching. Growing up in a house where everyone yelled to prove their point. I hate raised voices, and him screaming at me for an argument we had yesterday on our way to a birthday party we're supposed to enjoy. Made me lose it and snapped at him, "Can you stop f***ing screaming? Can't we talk about this when we're back home?" He grabbed my face and told me to never talk to him this way, especially in front of his mother. To this moment she said nothing. His grip on my jaw kept getting worse with every word. He did this before but never used this much force. So to take his hand off me I tried to grab his wrist and push but ended up scratching him a little. I swear to God I didn't mean to, I just couldn't bear the pain and wanted him to let go. His mother suddenly decided to use her voice and started yelling at me for hurting him and got out of the car and went to his side to check his wrist. I wanted to check his wrist too but was afraid of him losing it even more. He brushed it off and told his mom it was nothing and started the car again. Back home he went straight to the guest room. I decided to spend the next night at my parents' house to decide what to do. My mother and his are friends. Anyway, I didn't say anything but they told me later that night that his mother visited in the morning and told them about the fight. The thing is she told them we had an argument without mentioning how he started it and wouldn't stop with all the screaming and how he grabbed my face and only told them about me scratching him. Now my family lecturing me about how I should respect him and consider starting counseling. By family I mean my mother and little brother. My dad didn't say anything. I tell them how it went and try to show them the bruise on my jaw and they wouldn't listen because his mother can't possibly lie to them and the boy they watched growing up can't be this bad. But the daughter they raised can lie and be this bad? For God's sake, they know how I don't tolerate raised voices and avoid heated arguments at any cost, but none listen to me now except for my big brother who's him and my soon-to-be ex are close friends. What hurt me is instead for at least comfort me they are taking his side while they saw him raise his voice before and call his coworker names. Is it because my little brother brought his GF home and they gave her my room so she can be close to college and scared that if I break up with him I would come back to stay with them and ruin everything? I have a stable job and can take care of myself just good. I want to go back to break up with him and pack my things but can't even look him in the eye now for what he made me go through. He called and texted but like I said I don't even want to hear his voice. He apologized for what he did in a few texts. I'm thinking about showing them to my family? But I feel sad I need to do that so they support me emotionally. All my things are there and I never did this before because he's my first everything. I'm mad that his mother lied for him while my family didn't even listen to me. I'm thinking fuck them all except my big brother. Comments, do_connection 179. NTA and you need to break up with this dude. It may be a little awkward for a little bit with you mom and his mom being friends, but in no way can you let this dude put his hands on you and scream in your face like that, especially in front of people. Please get out of this relationship before he escalates any further. Boeing 36780, abusive. Plus he was 24 and she was 17 when they got together. Op literally never got to be an adult without this creep. And apparently her parents were okay with this? Whatever you do, Op, prioritize safety. Don't go back unless you're with a trusted friend and or ask the cops to be present while you get your stuff. All of that is far more important than your useless family. That your parents were okay with this asshole hitting on you when you were 17 and you were 24 tells me all we need to know about them. Unfortunately they are not people on whom you can rely. First things first. Stay safe and do not go back to this creep. Take some time to be single as an adult. Learn who the heck you are. Stay out of relationships for a while. Listen to your own brain, make friends with yourself. Christine_table_3146, he is actively pushing her to have a baby. She needs to get away before he's successful. Did he ever have other relationships, and how did he behave toward those girls? Datagon, he is becoming more violent against you. And having the confidence to do it in public. This is just not good at all. Seeker131313, and he now knows his mom will lie for him, and he will always have a gang at his back to berate Op and help him beat her down. This is headed in a very bad direction. Boyfriend's mom will get to raise her baby however she wants. Update 1, the night I shared that post I didn't sleep a wink but had to go to work anyway. I didn't want to go back to my parents' house but had nowhere to go, which made things even more complicated. I was tired and all I wanted was to sleep, but younger brother wouldn't let me. He kept trying to talk about it and repeating the things his mother told them. I literally felt like my eyes were going to shut on their own from exhaustion. Suddenly I felt his hand under my chin. When I looked up, his face was so close to mine, checking the bruise, and I pushed him. I know what I did is wrong, but at that moment he wasn't my younger brother or anyone I know. I don't know how to explain this part, but it was sudden and didn't realize what was happening, I guess. I just don't know why did I push him, not too hard but enough to make him back off a little. I think lack of sleep messed with my head, but still. When I realized what was happening, I apologized immediately, but he didn't take it well. My mother told him it's okay, she's just exhausted, and then said, "Why didn't you just show us the bruise yesterday?" I told her that's exactly what I tried to do, but you wouldn't listen. In her defense, it was covered with makeup and didn't look bad. Okay. She said my partner and I need to sit down and sort things out, and that I should apologize for the scratch too. I did the moment it happened. She also offered to call and ask him to come tomorrow so we could talk and fix things. I was so tired to argue with her, so I grabbed my things and got out. I'm writing this post from my hotel room. It's temporarily. Yes, I have a stable job but can't afford staying here for long. I need to be careful with my money since I'm gonna need to find myself a place, buy furniture and other things. I sent him a long descriptive text where I mentioned everything that happened that day. Even mentioned how it wasn't the first time but this one left a bruise. Including the scratch, and apologized for it again. Everything just like one of you advised me to do, and I got a response. So I guess it's something? My big brother made it clear to me that he doesn't care if they are close friends, family comes first, and that he will bring a friend with him to help me pack my things when I'm ready. He also offered me to stay with him as long as I need, but I can't do that. He and his fiancée had a baby recently and her mother's staying with them to help for a few months. I don't want to make things hard for them. The only friend I have is on a business trip. She was supportive and said I can stay with her when she comes back Saturday, so I'm waiting for now. She's the only friend I have that I can trust. I never felt the need to have more than one since him and I used to do pretty much everything together. I can't help but feel like I'm overreacting. I do want to leave and acting on it. But then again, this thought keep crossing my mind, that he's not always like this. I know I'm an idiot, I'm just sharing this with you because I can't be this honest with my brother and definitely can't say this to my family too. My brother advised me to not answer his calls and texts until I leave so I don't give him a chance to talk me out of this. My father called me this morning and apologized for not saying anything. He offered money, $1,500. I don't think I should accept it. By the way, he loves my mother to death and for him whatever she says goes since forever. So to be honest, I'm not disappointed that he didn't stand up for me that day. At least he didn't try to shut me up. For now I'm getting any paperwork I might need. Thanks to my big brother and the comments, I know better now. I feel I should clarify something. Yes, we dated for 8 years. But we didn't become exclusive until I was 18. He actually waited. It was my older brother's idea though. His only condition was that nothing would happen between us until I turn 18. You know what I mean by nothing. I think because they were close friends and knowing that my brother was against it all at first. Made him keep his promise, that's all. I will try and give final update when I sort everything out. Thank you again. Comments. Emu do 9390. He didn't wait. He groomed you. This is all so disturbing. Your family is so wrong. Please move in with your friend and cut your family off completely. They are encouraging you to stay with someone who laid hands on you, and now that he knows he will get support from your family when he abuses you, it will only get worse. Your family is gross and abusive as well. Get away from all these people as fast as you can. There is a better life out there for you. There are better people out there. How many times do you have to apologize for an accidental defensive scratch? Any man grabs my face, I would scratch his eyes out. Once someone lays hands on you, are allowed to defend yourself. No apologies. There is a better life for you out there if you can muster just enough courage to get away and cut contact now. Jida Luzop, I do realize this now. I'm working on everything you mentioned, I just hope everything works out well. Thank you. Sin_Y, by I just hope everything works out well, I'm guessing you mean leaving him, right? Cause you do know this won't be the last time it will happen if you continue this relationship. Ditch his ass and do it with someone around you as well. Don't be alone with him no matter what happens. Even if he says he would like to speak to you alone, do not accept unless someone is with you and only if it's in public. Good luck. Stay safe. Update 2. A few days after my last update, my brother and a friend of his went with me to pack my belongings. Thank God they did, because we found his mother there too. My ex kept asking to talk with me in private, but both my brother and his friend told him to say whatever he wanted with them in the room. He apologized and asked me to give him another chance, with his mother telling him to man up and stop begging the whole time. I called my friend to thank her again and let her know that I would be staying with my brother for the time being. I stayed with him for 2 weeks. Honestly, I didn't expect his mill to be that kind. Both she and her daughter, my brother's fiancée, were good to me. I tried to help with the baby, which helped me keep my mind off things a little and not feel like I was in the way. I mentioned in my original post that my ex and I were trying for a baby. I also mentioned in my first update how I felt tired all the time. I thought it was because I was going through a tough time, but I didn't know I was pregnant until I miscarried. With everything going on, I didn't pay attention to my period. I started having period-like cramps the night before. I continued to have cramps the next day, which turned into bleeding, and it was like having a bad period, but the bleeding continued to worsen over the course of the day. I probably wouldn't have even thought I was pregnant if my SIL hadn't told me that I might be miscarrying. I was 6 weeks along. Other than the miscarriage, which I'm still a little shaken by, everything has been good with me. I found myself a place 30 minutes from work. I'm adjusting. The last time he showed up at my work was a week ago or so. 2 of my coworkers told him to never show up again since he has no reason to be there, and he never did since. I'm NC with my mother and younger brother. She tries to reach me through my older brother, but he told me it's better if I stay NC at least for a few months. When I posted, I was more focused on his mother lying to my family, but the real issue was him doing that in front of her. If she hadn't visited and lied, I probably wouldn't have told my family and never posted here. So I would have never known that's not how things work, and that's not how my partner should treat me. I sometimes think about my ex. I know I seem weak, but I've known him for so long and he was my first everything. But now I don't have to worry about a lot of things. I wake up relaxed and don't have to worry about messing something up. By the way, my first therapy session is this Tuesday. That's all, thank you. Comments, the filthest fingers, NTA at all. It's completely understandable that you're feeling shaken by everything you've been through, including the miscarriage. Sorry to hear about that, BTW. It's important to prioritize your own well-being and take the time you need to heal. It's great that you're taking steps like going to therapy to take care of yourself. Remember, you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness in any relationship. Keep focusing on yourself and your own happiness, and things will get better with time. You're doing great, and I'm rooting for you. Ford Warrior, I'm sorry about your miscarriage, but so happy with the rest of your update. You've got a lot to be thankful for: your freedom, your own place, and an 8-year mistake in the rearview mirror. You have a support system in your brother and SIL and coworkers that have your back. I think your brother's right. Stay NC with your mother for a few, or many, months. Or as long as she's still friends with ex's mommy dearest, younger brother too. You don't mention your dad. Is he supportive since he sides with your mom? Be happy, but stay aware of your surroundings for a while. Your ex spent a long time grooming you into someone he had control over. He may not be happy that you walked away from him. Give yourself some time to heal and recover emotionally, and then be ready to get out socially with friends. I'm not saying to jump into a new romance. Take your time, you'll know when you're ready for that. You were so young when you got involved with your ex that your instincts may need some time to catch up to the new you. Pay attention to them. Glittering yams, he hurt her because he felt like he had a right to punish her for embarrassing him in front of his mother. I'm so glad she got out. Behavior like this always escalates. They feel more and more comfortable punishing you, as if you were a child and your behavior is something that's their responsibility to correct. It's fucking disgusting. Peter 095837, Jesus Christ, this whole entire family deserves to rot and burn away. No replacement 1798, minus the older brother and his in-laws. Cutie Bo Booty, squeezing her chin so hard it bruises, is way too close to choking for my comfort. I'm glad Oop got out. Her mother and younger brother are scum. I know it's traumatizing to have a miscarriage, but I can't help but feel like that was the universe freeing her from that horrid man. Imagine if she had to spend 18 years co-parenting with a man who puts his hands on her when he's mad. I am glad her older brother has her back. I am so glad she isn't going through it all alone. Now on to the next story. Story 2. Daughter revealed my wife was cheating on me with her ex-landlord. So I got revenge by exposing the affair to his fiancée, winning full custody and raising my daughter with his ex-fiancée. Before my ex-wife destroyed my life with her infidelity, we were so happy together, and I never believed a day would come where I would have to share this story. When I first met Mariah, I instantly knew she was the woman I had been looking for. I had been single for almost 2 years and was still getting over the pain of my ex-girlfriend dumping me for another woman. Trust me, this type of pain hits differently. I won't say our marriage was too different from our dating years. The only difference was moving in together and raising a daughter together. The first few months of our marriage were not as blissful as most people described. I had to do many things like cleaning, grocery shopping, doing the dishes, laundry, and even tolerating her annoying mood swings because of her pregnancy. And although I enjoyed being a father and a husband, it was very stressful. Our daughter, Daisy, grew up pretty fast, and in a twinkle of an eye, she was 4 already. I don't believe in magic, but it felt like magic because everything happened so fast, and I couldn't even remember how she moved from crying all night to picking the color of her nail polish. Meanwhile, Mariah and I still lived happily with each other, and we were both fantastic parents to Daisy. As Daisy got older, she spent most of her time with Mariah, and I only got to spend time with her on my days off. On one of those days, I took Daisy to the park to play with our dog and do whatever she wanted. So after playing, she came back to take a pack of juice, and just beside us, 2 couples were making out and almost kissing their tongues out. I wasn't even paying attention to the couple, and my eyes were fixed on my phone screen, so when Daisy started giggling, I had to look up and see what was making her laugh. When I asked her why she was laughing, she whispered that the two couples looked like Mummy and her boyfriend, which made me curious. I pressed to know what she was talking about, and after explaining everything in her childish way, I knew something was not right. Everything Daisy told me insinuated that Mariah had been seeing someone else, and they made out even in Daisy's presence. Another thing was the man Daisy described was someone I knew. He was also close to my wife and visited our house a lot. I asked Daisy multiple times if she was sure what she said, and she said I could even ask her mother myself. So, to avoid blowing up my discovery, I told Daisy not to tell Mariah about our discussion, and she promised not to. Even without getting proof, I changed how I looked at Mariah, and she could tell I acted a bit cold toward her. The thing is, I could not believe that Mariah, who looked so innocent, assured me that she loved me and never did anything fishy, would cheat on me. It was difficult for me, but I struggled to hold it in and not confront her until I did what I wanted. Days after I found out Mariah was having her affair, I set up a dashcam in Mariah's car and hid it very well. I wanted to be sure of everything Daisy told me before taking action, and low-key, I hoped Daisy was just making stories up. To my greatest surprise, after Mariah drove out of the house with Daisy that weekend, she stopped and picked up her boyfriend, and it was the same man Daisy described. He used to be her landlord before we got married and moved in together, and even though I noticed they were close, I thought they were just friends and nothing more, but to my horror, it was more than that. Immediately he got into the car, and Mariah leaned in to kiss him passionately, and when they were done, he turned to the back seat to playfully scatter Daisy's hair, and they drove off. I was so disappointed that I didn't know what to do next. I felt my whole world crash, and I struggled to believe that Mariah was the person in the car. After my minutes of emotional breakdown, it turned to rage, and an idea popped into my head. Still, when Mariah came home that evening, I didn't confront her or anything. I simply told her I was going for a walk to clear my head. Meanwhile, I was so sad and heartbroken. To avenge her for cheating on me and breaking my heart, I did some research and found the girlfriend of Mariah's boyfriend. She had met me physically several times, and we barely chatted on Facebook. Without holding back, I told her everything I found out and showed her the footage of Mariah and her fiancé. She was heartbroken because she had been dating her boyfriend for 4 years and was engaged for 1 year, yet he cheated on her. She felt so betrayed and broke off the engagement. After she did, I confronted my wife. At first, she denied having an affair with her boyfriend and called me delusional. But after she watched the footage, she was speechless. I was also brilliant and insisted on a paternity test, and the results showed Daisy was my biological daughter. She tried to beg me and explain that those were just friendly kisses and nothing more, but she must have thought I was stupid. I told her we were divorcing and I would take full custody of our daughter or expose her videos to her friends and family if she disagreed. At first, she relented, and although it was hard in court because she was a good mother but because of all the evidence I presented to the court, I won child custody for Daisy, and she only got to see Daisy on weekends. I even thought Mariah and her boyfriend would take their relationship to the next level, especially since they had no reason to hide anymore, but they broke up shortly after their secret was exposed. Her parents eventually found out, and they were so disappointed in her. It's been years now, and I know Daisy has been telling her stories of how me and my new girlfriend are taking care of her. As for my new girlfriend, we figured we were all we had after our spouses cheated on us and broke our trust. It sounds petty to date her boyfriend's former girlfriend, but it happened, and we are so happy together. We are not in a rush to get married, and I'm glad she loves and treats Daisy as her child.